Okay, now recording. So, basically your options are all these guys. And you get the same thing out of all of them. It's a little check mark that says, hey, I know about this thing. So I'm going to go with Spears, because I think Spears is like the goofy one. All things, it's the one that's got the lines I want. Yeah, Shiakio. Stella, let's see, anything I really care about. He's all awkward, and you have to insist with her. Let's see. They're all. What I will say is that they write the little narrative a little differently. There's a couple of beats they have to hit, but they write a more generalized version of the story. You know what I'm writing a generalized story of right now? Because of all my wiggling and boomeranging in writing, I've decided that I'm going to write something entirely and then put it up. It's the idea. Whatever. We'll get to that in a bit. How will we focus on the part that matters? Battle of the Boot remains a fantastic name for a song. I know what. Let's just go with Spears and call it a day. You can always download this mod yourself if you really care. So a guy I know actually played Puppet Pals, and they played like an old version. They were like, "Oh, doesn't look like MS Paint anymore." Yeah, oh, excuse me, I forgot. I was supposed to voice act this. Spears came by earlier to check on us. Guess that means he's still around. Maybe he's in his office or something. If he's not, at least I have an excuse to ditch the rest of the day. I get up and clean my clothes as best as I can. Stella's busy planting flowers with a red-headed friend. They shouldn't notice me leaving. Like, it gets... Okay, listen. This gets fucking goofy when you talk to Reed. Because Reed is in the hospital, remember? He's not around the corner. Reed is over there. Reed should know Trish best. He's been a bro so far. But could I just waltz up to the hospital and visit him? Like, don't I need an appointment or something? I guess I can figure out the hard way. Anything's better than grubbing a bit or two. Oh, yeah. Nobody should notice me slicking out the back. It's just... Motherfucker just goes to the hospital. After the nurse tells me. Oh, because we've already been there, so the nurse will know. Not notice, it is. It's kind of weird seeing the hallway so empty. Last time happened during Memorial. Oh, back then I was so preoccupied running away from Spears to really notice. Now it's the exact opposite. In a matter of minutes, I'm standing in front of the principal's office. Should I just knock? Is he actually in there? I feel a bit foolish idling like this. But then again, incurring the wrath of Spears sounds like a one-way ticket to a shallow grave. Spears is violent, but he's not a murderer. There's a difference. Some people will just beat the shit out of you, but they'll let you live. You know, get a little pat on the head. It's like, it's fine, you know. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, you know. Don't worry about it, you know. You're such a little man. Yeah. I heard about that. My version's, yeah. We've seen that in progress stuff. So, what I've been planning to do for myself, just mostly because I want to prove to myself that I can do it, I'm going to write like 7-ish chapters of an idea I've had in mind to get some things out of my system. It's the core idea. I'm still kind of milling on it because this is like yesterday that I really got into the idea and thought, like, let's do this. It's about 7-ish chapters, and it's basically I want to hug the gator. The idea, the elevator pitch is Anon, like before last summer, before school was even out, got into a car accident. His parents are in a coma, and he is like fucked up. He is like lost an arm and a leg, fucked up. I've given myself one conceit that's like stick as much as you can to what's established, and that's a medical technology sufficient that has a cool robot hand. That's about it, and a cool robot eye, because it helps establish an earlier scene a little easier, I guess. It's reverse 20. No, part of the plot is actually like Olivia like fucking Inko up by being like, oh, well, you know, because my idea is that because Inko has gone through this moment, he wins the competition legitimately, and Olivia goes, you didn't win legitimately. They just pity you. And she's spreading that vitriol inside of her. Another thing is because part of the idea was write some characters that I don't use too often, but I use a lot of the Wadi cast. Mia isn't a huge deal. She shows up like a couple of times because she throws the ball, and it's how Scully figures it out. Solly figures out, like, oh. Ben doesn't show up because he really isn't relevant in the grand scheme of things when you get down to it. I don't even know what he does in the main plot because I've only done ending 2 and apparently ending 4 that comes out. But instead, my idea is that since part of the story is now Your parents aren't just absent; they're in coma. They might die. It's like an 80 to 90% survival rate. It's just enough that if you care, it's like, ugh. He has to do his taxes. He lives in an empty house. He has to take care of himself. Like, he has access to the finances, but it's like there's no one around. He's becoming cold and jaded. He's been in the hospital for so long. Everyone has been nice. Like, he lost a lot of his humanity in the process. And he's like, I died in that car crash, and they just slapped meat and metal and skin onto a body and still started moving again. Like, from his perspective, he died, and that's awful. Poor Ben. Ben will show up because he does show up at the winter formal, and I kind of want to end it there. That gives him about 3 months to play with. It's in terms of, like, you got to establish a set scene. It doesn't get better by the end, but the core idea is that Inko has to let people into his life because he doesn't have a guardian or anything. He's he's an 18-year-old person, so it's like, you're an adult. Here's all your parents' shit. Take care of yourself. But he needs support. He needs someone to help him actually get out of the funk he's in. So that's basically the idea. And, I kind of like the idea. So one other thing I did is, because I'm kicking Ben out as a main character in any perspective, and Mia too, because I don't need them. Actually, I could still use them as like tertiary, secondary characters, but the primary character remains Inko. Is that I thought, you know what I wanted to write, but I never got around to, but I might as well get around to. Trish and Fang, just Trish and Fang from Snoot Game. I don't write Snoot Game versions of those characters all that often, at all, much. So I thought, why not bring them in? So they are Worm Drama, the duo. And part of the idea is that Trish is familiar with, like, a very demanding familiar situation where everything is a little hectic and everything's got to be done snap, 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 and everything. Whereas Fang is more used to, like, parents ditching you, and they all provide, like, a different perspective on the core idea of what is a support network. For Trish, it is I'm my own person. I got to stand on by myself. From Fang's perspective, it's more like, the people and friends I made along the way are the direction. Just some ideas. I'm still digesting it. This is like the early draft. I haven't even read much of it. I might do this differently. I might just draft the whole thing out from the beginning and then work from there, because that might be the smarter thing to do. It's kind of what I did with Call Me Fang. Like, a large portion of that draft exists in my brain already, and it's a lot better way to handle this. But it also means I gotta know what the ending is first, and the ending is always the hard part. Because if I know what the ending is, like, I know a bit more where to go. But so that's in my mind. There's still the Fang coming to Volcano High and, like, the existential dread of it. I don't know why I can't just write something happy-go-lucky. Why can't I just write characters smooching and making out? Come on! It's not that hard. It's always the hard part to write the penis, because it's hard, get it? It's the penis. It's not even that funny. I honestly kind of like the idea of, like, Fang. Like, the friend group is Fang, Trish, Liz, and Damien. I was gonna add Reed, but then I'm like, Damien already fills that role, and I could make Damien into Reed, but then, like, a whole lot of other stuff starts cascading. Like, where does Olivia live, and how But I kind of like the idea of, like, Olivia and Inko have this clash over, like, what it means. He's not looking for love. It ain't about smooching time, because, artists are manic depressives or crazy peoples. That's. I personally like the idea that Trish is the one that brings him into the group, because she's like, oh, you're a photographer. Hey, do you want to work for Exposure? Worm Drama could use someone to take those snazzy pictures. It's one way to get him in, because, again, part of him is he's a bit more jaded and cold to the world. So when he gets swamped initially, my initial idea, remember, first drafts and everything, is that he basically runs away. He's like, oh, fuck no. People will find out about all these weird... Because he's wearing gloves to hide the metal parts. He's also missing some fingers on his other hand. So he's wearing gloves to hide that. His sunglasses already conceal the eye. And, like, the leg, you can hide the leg by just wearing pants. So from his perspective, it's like, I don't want to be here at all. At least not surrounded from all angles. And the whole point is getting him out of there, fixing him up. And I know a lot. I'm probably gonna get fucking shit for this, but I'm not gonna include the parents much. Like, the parents being out of the picture, they're just out of the picture. I imagine someone's gonna be like, "But what about the parents? Why doesn't the ending tell us if the parents live?" It's like, it doesn't matter. That's not the story. The story isn't about if his parents live. The story is about if Inko can build a support network and get him out of this fucking funk. Man spent, like, months in physical therapy and getting surgery and all that stuff. He needs friends, not his parents, to survive. More than anything. Like, I've learned something writing. Like, this is the thing, right? Amalgam High became messy. It became this big, cluttered ball of lard. But I learned a lot by writing
Jesus Christ, this is too many characters. Nobody knows who matters. Ophinia has way too much screen time for how little she actually does in the story in a grand scheme. Like, I learned something by people yelling at me. So I'm going to write this thing. I'm probably going to draft out the main key points. It's going to end with the winter formal, and you want to know a fun quote that I recently learned about? I'm going to tell you a fun quote I recently learned about. I like this quote a lot. Like, I forgot that, like, the quotes in Morrowind's level up text are actually pretty good. But it's basically a self-reflective quote of, like, everything sucked and I kind of made my own life worse. But, that's part of learning. I'm learning. I learned that I was stupid. And sometimes that's the real lesson you gotta learn. It's not that sophisticated. Killing darlings. Ophinia matters. Here's the thing. Ophinia and Octave technically matter a lot in that story, but they don't matter early on. And if you write a certain way, they don't matter at all. They are important for the world, but in the moment, at that point, Anna doesn't give a shit. Like, sure, Ophinia does this stuff and Octave does that stuff, and that happens around him. But it's kind of like giving your janitor too much screen time. It's not even being like the smart, wisecracking janitor, Too much spotlight and too little guy. So I want to make this just about those 5 characters. My idea is 7 chapters. The only reason it's 7 chapters is because I like the number 7. And because I made 7 chapters for what was it again? Gosh, my stomach is acting up. It's like I start eating and my stomach is like, listen, you can't talk and eat at the same time. That's just not how we roll. But then I'm like talking and eating, and I'm not doing recording. It's like, no, we can do this. The other one, what was it again? Oh my god, it's not Stuck on Rails. Oh, it's Liar's Ashes. Liar's Ashes. I forgot what the fuck. What even was the plot here, my man? Did you write out what mattered? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. What was it again? I don't even know if I'm going to keep that. So Liar's Ashes is ending one. Fang wakes up in Goodbye Volcano High and is like, this is a hell created just for me because I got what I wanted. I'm non-binary, and oh my god, look at this. Look at all this fun stuff. I got a band, and I'm actually going to perform in places, and I'm making it through the battle. It's a hyper-condensed version of Goodbye Volcano High, except Fang is fucking paranoid out the asshole. And the ending is that they wake up the day before prom in the original timeline. But I don't know if I'm going to keep that. That's stupid. I mean, is it stupid? Like, here's a philosophy that I stick to a lot that I don't think a lot of people appreciate, and that is the journey can have its own value. Call Me Fang ends with the protagonist going dead, going poof, he is erased from existence, and Fang comes back and everything goes technically back to normal. Asteroid gone, problem solved, everything. And they just move on. I like that idea because to me, it is life at its most condensed form is there is no ending, tomorrow is another day. And I kind of like that mentality of carrying that on. It doesn't matter if that world was real or not. Fang has that experience. They're going to have to live with it for the rest of their life, and that's going to move on. Like, that's why I think that a good time travel story doesn't just go, you go back in time to... Octave was... I wrote... The Cost of Moving On originally was about time travel. And at one point, Octave would explain it. And he says, the way a lot of movies do it is push-button time travel. Is you go to point A and you stop event B. That's it. That's time travel. It's fucking lame. Real time travel, he says, is I send you back X amount of days, you change everything, good luck. You basically you get to live it again, but you don't have any guarantees or certainties or anything. You just try again. You can fail. He's even specific, like, listen, I'm not doing this again. I might not show up again. You need to do this right the first time. Everything you've learned can only get you so far. It's not a video game. It's not a video game. You do not know what you did wrong or where to make the changes. And that's the point. A lot of people say, well, time travel's lame. No, time travel is lame because you don't treat time travel like it is, and it is existential nightmare. Anyway, I'm talking too much. We truly ghosts. Why not? Why not? Why not be ghosts? I just... Listen, I'm going to stop anyone who's going to say this because they're jackasses. No, I do not think that saying it was all a dream is a good way to end your story. Let's get this out of the way. If you make everything a dream, fine, provided the character is like, shit, everything's different. What people care about is not that it was a dream, but that every lasting impact is gone. When you remove 99% of the characters having any experience of this event, the one person who does better have a good fucking story to tell, you know? If I dream up a wonderful magical world where me and my friends are having the grandest adventures, I better have felt that was the best adventure ever. Because when I wake up, nobody else is going to remember that. It's got to be good enough for me to talk about it for hours, you know? At the minimum. Otherwise, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. If the journey's not its own reward, you fucked up. But there are 4 people here now. We're not even playing the fucking... I'm disappointed. So many people are showing up and they're like, listen, this is not Goodbye Volcano High. This isn't even Snoot Game. What the fuck are you doing? The fuck are you doing? You know, Wizard of Oz technically has that. Like, a lot of times when people go to another world in Isekai and they come back, that other world might as well have been a fucking dream. There's no difference. It's semantic, whatever it was a dream or not, right? Like, there are people who say that when you dream, you go to another world. That might be true. How the fuck will you prove otherwise, buddy? You can develop devices that can decipher dreams, I guess. And see if there's something going on in there. But otherwise, you're kind of shit out of luck. Oh, what the hell? Grow power already. With determined motion, I wrap 3 sharp knives. You know, one thing I like about this is that you can tell that the writers who wrote this have a different inclination for words than the original writers. I think that's cool. Because that's your own voice. Not saying it's good or bad, just saying neat. Because wrapping 3 sharp knocks, wouldn't see that in the original. I don't know why. I just have this gut feeling that it wouldn't show up as often. From inside, I hear people shoveling, and then Spears' strong voice shakes the doorframe. Enter. God, please, just... Having him sit down and be shorter than Anon is such a weird move to make, right? Okay, so, by the way, can I have your ears? Can you listen to me? I'm going to say something, and it's the stupidest shit I've ever said, all right? All right? I like my reboot so much, but I also think I can stick to the original. I want to do both. And you might say, what the fuck does it mean to write the original and the reboot? And the answer is, I don't know. But they are so mentally different for me, I'm like, why not both? What the hell is that emote? Oh, that's an ear. Oh, that's an ear. So, did I still mute the game? Oh, no, the game's not muted. Okay, weird. Yeah, the game's not muted. It's just no music here, I guess. Maybe they didn't select it yet. But, so, Amalgam High, I wrote 1 or 2 chapters at this point for a reboot. Like, this is what I would do if I would do it again. But I realized it's different enough. I kind of want them both. I want them both. Because what's the difference, right? What's the big idea? Also, the reason I'm doing the Wani Gator thing rewrite is partially because Volcano Forge Cardboard is just dead. Just not going to happen. Impossible. Cannot occur. So, what sets these stories apart? I love that they're called Anon and Inko High, and then Anon Reborn. The way I title these things is that they're called the story bibble, because I love the term bibble. Bibble's funny. Bibble makes me giggle. Give me that bibble. So in the reboot, the noospheric elements are kind of de-emphasized, but in the old one, we can play those. We can play. Listen. You gotta listen very closely, because I'm just that kind of guy. Technically speaking, I'm building a soundtrack. For Anon versus Zavarudo. I don't know why I called it Anon versus Zavarudo, but because it's funny. Because it's funny to label your soundtrack that. But it's mostly just the battle themes, because I like to listen to them when I'm writing this stuff. But like the original is kookier, weirder, goes places, is nuttier, has less of a character focus. Whereas the reboot is like the main crux of the story is Anon travels across the world. He makes 3 new girls, friends, harem, I guess, and he eventually must confront his old bully, who's going to rip him a new asshole. Also, he finds out about a conspiracy that exists entirely in the background, and he just is like, I can't do anything about this. I learned the world sucks in a funny way. I mean, the world sucks depending on how you look at it. That's also kind of the funny part. He's like, wow. But the original ending, just to point this out, if you want to know where this went, right? The original Amalgam High, one of the main ending chapters is Naomi achieving apotheosis, aka trying to become a god by getting a focus and then breaking the focus so that it's not limited and restrained, and then going, whoop. And the whole thing is ridiculous. It's absurd. It's nuts. It's nutter butter. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything to Anon. He doesn't know Naomi that well. And she's just like, I'm gonna go throw a moon on the planet, I guess. So see ya. God, if I'm writing a sequel series, the real question is, which kids am I taking with me? Which kids are coming along? I know that Octave's going to be on the moon. Man is like, yep, my wife died. Peace out. I've had enough of this. My best friend has mind controlled the entire population. I'm out. You know, the old peace sign and you vanish into nothing, except you go to the moon. You know, that's what I do. If I gain such incredible powers, I just fuck off to the moon. That seems like a great way to spend my time. Just go to the moon. Why not? Fang has Nusferic abilities, but they are like bard abilities, like giving you certain feels and vibes and giving you +1 bonuses to your cool shit. You know, which is also so in the reboot. Part of the reason why Worm Drama sucks ass is because Fang is insecure about the band, or like they're self-defeating. It's like they get bad vibes because they mess up, and it just becomes this self-fulfilling cycle. Like they imbue other people with bad vibes, they suck in those bad vibes as energy, and they spit it back out again. It's great. I think. How does this work? Am I not a moderator? Do I not have moderator powers? Can I not just tell someone to screw off? There we go. Woo! Did that work? Because I don't want to see that shit on my goddamn. The funny thing is, I do draw, so that's not technically out of order. That's not out of whack. I just haven't drawn in a while. I have been thinking about drawing the campus. I don't know why. Mostly because the campus is kind of neat to me. I like it. It's like a bivolcano high, but given a bit of a worldly charm. There's another thing I'm writing. So we have the same story twice. We have Inko gets fucked, and then we have Wanda's adventure. Which, if you ever want to get a good insight into how stupid my brain is, working titles are always hilarious. They're always the dumbest shit you've ever seen. Ophenia's original thing was called The Beauty of the Bird, and Wanda's fashionable adventure has the name Wanda's Wistful Wander into the Wonderful World of Wealth, even though it's technically not even applicable as a title. It doesn't technically make sense, because it's not about the wealth of these characters. It's fish out of water story. Yabingus! The bot was a bad doggo. Listen, I'm perfectly fine with people showing up and having a good time, but don't be like that. Good afternoon, sir. I'm the stuttering add-on. I'm so stuttery. He's sitting in this big cushy chair, working some kind of documents. I'm Mr. Moose. Is there something I can help you with? Is it Mr. Moose or Mr. Mouse? I always go with Moose because it sounds less silly. It sounds less Mickey Mouse. Anon, would you happen to be related to a certain man named Mickey? That's emus for you, Sir Mr. Spear.
Oh boy, I sure love being a little boy. I'm just a little man.
Be quick about it. Almost immediately turns back to the stack of papers in front of him. His bluntness takes me back. Standing in front of Spears, I think this wasn't such a good idea after all. You're in detention. You showing up at the principal's office is like zero good idea. What would I even say to him? Just bitch about my relationship issues? I'm sorry, sir, but I realize there's something I shouldn't bother you with. Oh, see, in that case you wouldn't leave now. He doesn't even look up. I mean, he's like being pressured to resign from his position, and man's not in the best of moods. Have a good day, sir. I'm already turning heel when I hear Spears' chair creaking, his muscular mass rising from it. And on. The sheer strength of his voice makes me shudder. Ah, fucked. Did I make him fuck up some document or something? I'm so fucking dead. Yes? You have anyone else to go to? With your problem. Can you talk about that one?
Well, if we talk to Trish, I think what happens is we never talk to Trish about it. And we fuck up. But if we talk to him, we get to learn the secret. It's really weird, by the way, that he knows this. Like, it's so fucking weird that Principal Spears knows any of this when you really get down to it. Because he does not seem like he has his ear that close to the ground. He knows what's going on, but this is like weirdly detailed. Although I guess maybe he signed the tension. We'll see how it goes. I just felt it was a little weird to have him as all. I guess it's because one of the few characters that's still alive and doing anything, and isn't Rosa, who got kicked out. It's really funky.
No, not really. With a sigh, Spear motions me to close the door and come back, and so I do.
Hey, it's music. I almost forgot music existed in this video game. Bah! Bah, bah, bah. It's the Ballad of the Boot. It's a good song, man. It's a good song, man. It's a decent song, too. It's very... It's very punk but contemplative. I kind of like it.
Since you're here anyway, might as well bother me. Are you sure, sir? I mean, I'd like to tell someone, but... It's not an easy subject. Yeah! I mean, no. I mean, it's about Trish. Not as much.
Right. Stop stuttering, you fucking clown! Like, it's fine if he meanders, but him stuttering just stands out so much because he never really does it all that much in the base game. It never feels like such a huge thing. Here it's like this man has lost all of his testicles. They're all out the roof, out the window. You know what? Introverted, yes, but he always talked when he was talked to, you know? There's a difference. So, do you think, I mean, like, we're good friends with Fang, right?
Pretty sure something I don't know.
He steps to one of the many shelves in the room and includes dozens of boxes, files, and folders until he finds the one he's looking for. From a file, he pulls a dusty book. A yearbook, by the way, for the Inko thing, I thought about writing a different way. A way I've seen some people write is they write the way that this handles it, where they have name titles and then that chunk of text below it is directly what they're saying. Doesn't work with my writing style, and for something this big, it's a big risk. I also don't like how it necessarily looks on AO3, because on an AO3, it adds a bunch of white space, and it just looks really, really low density in a bad way for me. Something I might do on a shorter project, but not on the big one. In addition, I love doing little intermissions. I love doing little, breaking up the sentence, and then having a character do a little thing to indicate what they're thinking, or you know, just give him some life. It doesn't work that well when you write chunks of text and then you add white lines and you add chunks of text and everything. It becomes a way too low density. Just wouldn't work for a project like this. But it is fun to work around those restrictions. Not write like that. Establish more things ahead or afterwards. You know, that's the fun part. That's the idea. Doesn't work for a long-form project. It's a massive commitment at that point. Don't do it. Don't experiment with something you're interested in. You'll just break it and you'll be sad. No. Bah. Bah, 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 bah. From the file, he pulls a dusty book. A yearbook, by the looks of it. Why is there a yearbook in a fucking folder?
Yes.
The smile on his ape-like face is almost fatherly. Arriving at a certain page, he hands me the book. Fang! Fang, you look a tail. Man, Trish was detailed at some point. Man, Fang's looking a little worse for weather. Fang's looking a little worse for weather, as I say. Also, look at that Trish. Look at that goofy little Trish. Drawing someone playing a guitar is awful, though. Ugh, the fingers are so finky. But look at that Trish. I like it. She's just a little dork. Oh, wow. Holy fucking shit. What? She does look like Velma, thank you.
So that, the very first concert of a firm drama at the end of this junior year.
End of junior year. Yeah, she does look pretty tall as a result of how so much pants.
They look like completely different people. They were, in a way.
I can't even fathom. Fang in a dress. Holy shit, check out the claws on her. Oh, look at all this art we're not seeing that is being described to us.
It's like when I didn't cut my nails for all summer because I thought it'd give me superpowers. More importantly, though,
Trish with bangs on her hair down. Glasses. It's like she stopped being, you know, coded.
Wrapped her jizzes on the cross of stone. She looks like the biggest geek ever. Her horns are adorably tiny and uneven.
Oh, they are.
Makes me wonder if she used to be self-conscious about them, or if she had braces to perfect the nerdy girl trifecta. One thing is for certain, they look kind of happy in this picture. Awkward teens they may be. So what happened? Life happened, son. I don't get it. Look below the photo. Lucy, Trish, and Reed.
Where's Reed? Lucy? Isn't that kind of funky that this is supposed to be like a Trish, like we want to smooch Trish, but so much of it is just about Fang. It's weird. I get why, but it's like if you wanted to write a Trish route where Trish gets smacked and macked, we're macking our girlfriend. Maybe don't write an event that makes Trish fundamentally incapable of thinking about anything else.
Lucy?
Lucy Aaron, actually. I mean to bust your bubble, but her name is Aaron. For some reason, when I look up Snoot Game Wiki Fang, I get Fang the Hunter too, so that's pretty cool.
It's Fang's real name.
Oh God, Mr. Spears, that's not the real name. That's called a dead name. You shouldn't just throw it around. Did Fang become Jewish? This was before Ripley existed, I guess. And then the creator was also making guesses on what nationality they were.
With another deep, sorrowful sigh, Spears takes the book from me. It means what it sounds like. Fang is a made-up name, and
What? She's dead. So oh, that's listen. That's a shit move, Lobster. But what I want to laugh about, what I think is funny, is that he's like it's a nickname. Like you people don't know how this fucking works, do you? Like I understand that some side characters don't know how it works, right? I'm fine with that. But if anyone should know about this, it should probably be Spears, who was probably one of the first people told about this shit. Who probably got the whole spiel from Fang. Like, no, it's not a nickname. It's my real name now. Also, every name is made up, Spears. What the fuck drugs are you on? Oh, it's a made-up name. Yeah, no, I was born out of the womb and God came down and said, this particular child has this particular name, you better get it right, and then God fucked off. No. He's a principal. I imagine he's exposed to this to some extent. If not from himself, from his peers. Do you know how many goddamn assholes are yelling at teachers about this trans stuff? It's ridiculous. You can't escape it. Although, God, the fucking dead name joke's so good, though. She's dead now, so the name works. They killed Fang in E1 so they could dead name her. It's the best. Oh, such a bad joke. No. Please. I mean, that makes sense and all. I mean, I know for like, I've seen her like 5 times, so to be honest.
she's got like the teacher to call her by a nickname and stuff. Well, now that I think about it, it's because of a non-binary or whatever. Yes. You see, Aaron, we've never had a transgender student before. It was my prerogative to make her feel safe.
You know, maybe you should have done your homework. Don't you have a school counselor or something? Shouldn't there be someone in school whose job it is to like look at the kids who are going fucking nuts and go, yeah, they're fucking nuts. You know, someone who might have a slight understanding of what this might be like, good or bad. Would have been an interesting element to play off of, you know. Fang went to the counselor and said, like, no, I went to the counselor and they just told me I'm fucking nuts.
I didn't like my answers.
Yeah, there is the weird part of, like, Trish is an active antagonist in the original game, and writing her as a... It's so weird. So many weird things to think about.
It was my prerogative to make her feel safe, which is why I'm both dead-naming her, not completely understanding the situation, and didn't care. Honestly, I deserve to be fired to some extent if this is how blatant and flippant I'm going around, just showing random people information on the student. How well do you know her? You know her friend, and I'm just showing you pictures out of a fucking yearbook we have lying around. I'm this close to showing you her bank details.
Yeah, man. Like, names are names. It's just what you call someone. All that matters about a name is that you respond to it. That's all you need. Because that's what they're for. They're like pronouns, but for you specifically. They're identifiers. What more do you need?
Guess that didn't go so well. I'm gonna blame you, by the way, just because it's funny.
Mr. Spears, I'm gonna put all the blame on you. I'm gonna go to the press right now.
Adam, do you even know what the hell you're talking about?
Not really, but I'm gonna try anyway. Because it's funny.
Now, I can see why you left your last school, then.
So, how'd you get like that anyway?
Trish. She suggested it was like her doing or something? Oh, wait. Trish, she suggested it was like her doing or something. I'm sorry, Adam, I don't have all the answers. Well, it could have been Trish's influence, it could have just been Reed all the same.
Why would it have been Reed? Reed seems like he doesn't give a shit.
That's a surprise. There was an incident some months prior to that photo being taken. All 3 of them, Lucy, Trish, and Reed, were involved. What happened? Some boys, Reed's clientele, decided to pick up a helpless girl for a few laughs. Trish stopped in to save, Lucy? No, Aaron, I believe it was the other way around. I don't have all the details.
Okay, so the basic synopsis is, Trish got bullied by Reed and some of his pals. Fang stepped in. Reed was abandoned by his friends and had to shoulder the blame. They all got detention, and they kind of became friends as a result of that. Somewhere down that line, Trish wanted to help Fang, because Fang didn't feel in. Fang, supposedly in this version, identified themselves by everything the rest of the world was not. So being non-binary was just another step to that. Which, I guess that does still kind of gel with the core game to some extent. I like how he calls them better students, even though Trish does not strike me as one of the better students, and neither does Fang. Also, Reed's... You know what I did, Anon? I put 3 bad apples with 1 good apple, and I thought it would work. That's not how that goes, sir. A bad apple spoils the bunch. I know. But everyone kept talking about bad apples like it's a good thing. Everyone kept talking about I was just a few bad apples, and I thought, clearly good apples unspoiled the bunch at that point. For a while, it seemed to work. I mean, yeah, it's something new, something novel, something exciting, You're kind of into it, You're learning a little about yourself, you're having some fun. I do like this idea that he checked in. But if he checked in like that, wouldn't he have picked up on the whole, everything a bit more? Also, just every single time they call non-binary people transgender, it just makes me go, what is it? It just doesn't feel right to me, I get why, because it's the change that does it, not the gender, but my brain doesn't, gets all dizzy. Fang being unable to own her thing, and Trish making the shots, Naomi going nuts, and finally the cherry on top. Except this is... Vocaldira legend. She's a ghost now. She's haunting all of us. Yes, that's the story. To answer your question, my! So let's look at some of the other ones, see if we can find the relevant details. With Reed, you actually have to back off from asking. Because otherwise he's like, nah, man. Oh yeah, if you ask On, he's like, you're trying to get into her pants. And he's like, yes, I already got into his pants. And Reed's like, TMI. Honestly, I think actual Reed would be like, hey, and leave it at that. Maybe she's in chat right now. Fang, Lucy from another world, if you are here right now, say hello and give me $50. Hack the system or something, I don't fucking care. There we go. I'll be like your fire starter, like Flint and stuff. Forget it, man. That sounded kind of gay. No, it didn't. Don't make a Fang account. You'll get yourself haunted and possessed. Let's see. Peeping. Oh yeah, Reed's getting all excited talking about this in not a good way. Used to be like this bland kind of shy girl. Everyone walking over her and stuff. Trisha stood up for her or something. Nah, bro, it's the other way around. She got bullied hard. Trish was bullied very hard. Rich preppy kids didn't like where she came from. This one day this crew I was rolling with thought it'd be hella funny to pick on Trish. They were bad dudes. They took it too far that time. Fang got involved. It's hot boxing in the dino suit. Oh, hot pocketing the dino? Maybe it is a term, I just don't know. I'm dumb. And it's showing. I like that this is also the part where he points like, yeah, I'm a mascot during school events and stuff. It's great. Fang saved Trish that day. They all got detention. Left me there to take the blame and stuff. So they started talking. And they became the 3 amigos, thick as thieves. Bang, bang, kang, dang, fang, hang, gang. Fang had this idea. It's even before we met her, she didn't talk to anyone because she thought people were weed. Oh, they're pulling up that conversation where she's everyone's weeds. But not the fun kind. So she thought that she'd hey.
The less she is like anyone else, the more she is herself or something. Didn't the guys stop her? Because she was happy, dude. She was a friend, they were happy for her. I think that's about where that conversation ends. And then we got Stella. Stella, you have to push. Back in junior year, before the whole worm drama thing, used to be an average innocent churchgoer girl. Okay in terms, she didn't have any friends, but she was alright. She was the face in the crowd. Trish was the same. School had its shares of bullies. So, kind of a neat way to set up the story. I mean, it's so interesting, some fun backstory to work with. It's just weird, this is the fucking Trish Route. In the Trish Route, here's some extensive lore on Fang. Thank you, sir. From earlier now, all of a sudden there's an edge to Spears' voice. It looks like his usual proud self, but the conversation probably got to. Shit, he might blame himself for what happened. I thank him once again, and then for sharing the story, and then leaving me. I figure I'll just talk to Trish and get her take on all this. Boom, 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 boom. Tasty. It's still early afternoon when I depart from the school. Wait a minute. Technically, there is no return sequence in the read section, so he just leaves school after leaving the hospital. My thoughts are all over the place. Mainly I'm wondering if Trisha's gone home yet. I mean, I could just call her, but maybe she's still sleeping, right? Who am I to wake up a lady? Honestly, it